What's up, party people? Ever since Sneako got banned on YouTube, he's gone on a pretty interesting arc. I used to like his stuff a lot, and I actually looked up to him as a content creator. But as he went down the red pill arc, I became a lot less impressed with what he was doing, not necessarily because of what he was saying itself, but more the way he went about it. He became a grifter who was willing to say up anything to drum up controversy and espouse any opinion if he thought it would get him some attention from online Andrew Tate fans.
I am she, they. Tate's a misogynist. Ban Sneako from all platforms. Sneakita, I'm gay. Cover your face.
And his latest arc is the Muslim arc, where he's pretending to be a Muslim. I mean, sorry, I misspoke there. I don't know what came over me. He's espousing the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad with honesty and integrity. Unfortunately, this position has led him to have some very uncomfortable conversations around the age of consent, which is where he got into some trouble. He's having difficult conversations around if you should or should not be able to marry a child.
No, we don't think there's any problem with it at all. We think that it's just because we have a different idea of what it means to be a child, which can be tracked historically. But now, if the situation has changed, we'd say that the general principle in Islam is, you can do what you kind of want, so long as, I'm not going to say you can do what you want so long as you harm it. You can marry whomever you want to marry, so long as it doesn't cause them harm, physical and psychological. So, for example, if I marry a 100-year-old woman, or Sneako, if you marry with your tank top a 100-year-old woman, and you get involved with her intimately, she might die. I mean, she might have some kind of health problem. So we would say that, well, if you were to be intimate with a 14-year-old or 13-year-old who's got huge hips and huge breasts and huge body, I mean, quite frankly, we would say it's not going to have the same effect medically. I mean, no one can make the argument. But in these countries where we live in now, one is legal and one is illegal. So, in other words, you can't marry a 100-year-old woman, but you can marry that girl that's you can't be. You're a pedophile if you go for the girl that's got the hips. And once again, pedophilia is very relative.
It's all relative, guys. It's based off the country you live in. I mean, hey, maybe we're a bit too civilized over here, okay? In my epic country, maybe the USA is a bit too civilized, okay? We have Western values. That's cringe, though. In my epic country, it's actually based. A 14-year-old? I mean, what could the harm possibly be? And a lot of the reason for this debate is that a lot of people believe the Prophet Muhammad married a 9-year-old. If you look online, there's a lot of debate around this subject. Some people believe the historical records are inaccurate. Some believe it is accurate and condemn Muslims as a result. And some Muslims defend this position. That's why this conversation is such a sticking point for someone like Sneako, as he attempts to learn about the religion he thinks he's a part of. And that brings us to the great debate. Destiny was having a conversation with XQC about some Twitch drama, and Sneako wanted to join the call to put his mortal enemy to death once and for all.
Here's an easy question. Listen, okay, so should we update or not? What do you think the age of consent should be, Sneako?
Yeah, this is not an important conversation.
No, it's a super important. You don't think kids or not is an important conversation? What do you think the age of consent should be? If you want to be consistent, you don't think anything updates, just tell us what you think it should be.
I think it should be past at a developed age. Destiny.
What is a developed age? If you had to set a law for it, what would you set it? What would you set it about?
I'd say it's a developed age.
No, answer the question, you fucking pussy. Holy shit, you're such a cowardly fuck. Stand up for what you believe in. If you actually are Muslim, you're actually Islamic or whatever, then stand up for your beliefs. Every other Muslim scholar online will do this. Do it. Stand tall on it. Don't act like a little pussy in here trying to grill XQC on modern meta ethics or whatever. If you want to answer basic questions about your worldview, what should the age of consent be?
Do you see how?
And you would think this is like an easy question to answer. In most places in the United States, it's either 16 or 18. I think a lot of people would probably want to raise it from 16 to 18 in those places. But this should be a pretty easy question to answer, especially for someone like Sneako, who supposedly spends a lot of his time thinking about his ideas and how he feels. He posits himself as an intellectual, so why can he not just answer this very basic question?
You see how you want to answer the question? You see how he's going to yap and not answer the question? I'm going to ask the same thing when you're done. Go ahead.
I just answered the question. I just told you.
What was the age?
I just told you at a developed age.
Sneako thinks you should be able to f 9-year-olds. That's what Sneako thinks, and he won't answer that question honestly. Or he's going to have to give a different answer, in which case he's updated his morality. He's updated his views, and that's really uncomfortable for him. You don't have an answer to any of this shit, bro. Go back to that corner in London where you're getting roasted by year 1 debaters on Christianity. This is retarded. I don't know what the you're doing in here.
Okay, so you can leave the call. I wanted to go talk about this.
I don't want to leave the call. I like hanging out here. I've talked to a lot of files in the past, so.
And for whatever reason he dances around it, he can't really answer it. Why? A lot of people's go-to answer is going to be that Sneako is a gooner, a groomer himself, and, you know, that's fun to say, I guess, but it's inaccurate. Unless we see some kind of clear proof that Sneako is attracted to people who he shouldn't be, we can shy away from that argument. You don't need to go there. What we can say for sure is that he's dumb. Because for all of this time he spent thinking about these subjects, when he gets into a debate, he's unable to actually answer any of the real questions that people have. He doesn't know why he thinks the way he does. He turns to other people like this Mohammed hijab guy to answer the questions for him. Not that he's the smartest dude in the world by any means.
Social constructs, not the kind that the feminists and the ones on the far left are talking about, which is that they say sex is a social construct, or like, for example, Judith Butler said sex itself, biological sex, the penis in a sense, is a social construct. We're not talking about that. We do have some social constructs. And ironically, I think the social constructs are those things which cannot be empirically justified. And I think one of those things is the idea of childhood. I'll be totally honest with you and tell you, how do we determine what is a child? I mean, historically, we've always understood the idea of childhood as corresponding with either biological ability or psychological capability, or a combination of both. The ability of somebody to work or to...
Like, this dude is just yapping endlessly. Why do you need a 10-minute long explanation? Just say whether or not he did it, whether it was good or bad. You can say the core tenets of the religion are good, but, you know, I don't like that part of it or whatever. I think that would be fine instead of, oh, well, you see, it was merely a different time and a different place, and we have social constructs in the West that, you know, the blue hairs believe in, and that's just ridiculous, guys, okay? When it comes down to it, like, there's just a lot of complicated issues. Like, bro, just say how you really feel. But Sneako gets arguments from this guy. He's asking him how to debate, and he doesn't really know how to explain it. He doesn't know the thought process. He's not really listening. If you look at this video, he looks like he's drifting off into space. He's watching cartoons in his head, but he doesn't have a real intellectual thought process about this. So all I can really say is at a developed age, whatever that means, which is ironically the same problem he has with NPCs, as he calls them, people who just repeat whatever they're told to them without any deeper analysis and don't really know why they think the way they do.
Okay, Sneako, I'm actually curious now. What do you think the age of development is?
I just told you, it depends on where you are. It depends on the
okay. Then at what stage do you think somebody is developed then? What stage of development? Because there's a lot of stages in development.
It varies. I don't think
it varies. It varies on the what?
I think it varies on the age.
It varies on the age.
It depends on where you are.
You need to have set ages for that. There are stages of development as a child, an adolescent, an adult, and then fully developed. Like, is it the brain? Is it the body? Is it cognition? What parts of development is it? Can you target that?
I don't spend that too much time thinking about that.
This is such a non-answer. Like, why not even just give a rough age or something? Why dance around it and say you don't spend time thinking about it? In this clip, you were literally asking for advice around a very similar topic, so clearly you do spend some time thinking about it.
Wondering though, and I'm not trying to be offensive in any sense, but I've had debates with a lot of blue-haired feminists and these types of people. And when I talk about my interest in Islam, they bring up the fact that the Prophet Muhammad, he was married to a girl that was underage.
And after all of that learning, all of that preparation, where did it get us? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. This guy used to be coherent and interesting to listen to, even if I didn't always agree. He used to have a clear thought process you could follow. He was like someone who was interesting to listen to.
I asked everyone who knows me as Hubert, my real name, how to be happy. Everyone I asked had a unique response to the happiness question, but they were all boring. So I read this book called Happier, written by the professor who teaches Harvard's most popular class ever, How to Be Happy. And that was boring too. Harvard kids are clearly mid. Overthinking happiness takes away time you should just be spending watching porn. But the book wasn't all bad. I finished it in 2 days. There was one good quote in it. Some philosopher, Henry Socrates, said, "Nothing is inherently good or bad. Thinking about it makes it so." And it got me thinking, like, yeah, morality is kind of this made up idea by more powerful people so that they can make laws to govern us. And I was thinking, like, has anyone else lightened up to murder? No, just no. It used to sound really bad. Now I want to hear both sides.
Obviously, this is kind of a joking clip, but he's making a point here, and it's a pretty interesting one. And now the Sneako we get is just a husk of his former self, parroting talking points he thinks his audience and the people he collaborates with want to hear, while not being able to actually say anything of substance. It's disappointing.
So if a man fucked a 12-year-old and he was like, well, this person was like really developed, would that be okay then? You wouldn't call that person a pedophile?
No, that's wrong. Absolutely.
Why is that wrong?
I just said that you're not supposed to do relationships with people, but look,
Well, you can't do relationships?
you can't do relationships with children. I said that. Like,
Wait, what is a child though? But what if they say they were developed?
Developed is 18 plus, bro. Like, come on now.
Ooh,
We
is
all
that,
know
do you co-sign that, Sneako? Is that what develop means? 18 plus?
Well, people believe that, but throughout a lot of states, a lot of it's like 17, a lot of it's 16.
Oh, so you think 16, 17, that's the ethical age to start f***ing or
No,
marrying people?
I don't follow, but see, I don't follow the legal morality that you guys are following.
So-
I'm
so
asking you
follow
for the
yours. What's
Sharia.
yours?
I'm asking you for the Sharia morality. What's the religious one? What do you think is the morality there?
It says developed. It's not a specific age.
So if the pedophile or if a guy wants to f 12-year-old, if he feels like they're developed, then you're saying it should be okay in terms of religion, right? In terms of at least ethics or morality, right?
No, in the Quran, it does not specify. It doesn't have an age. Like, you're going to go in circles about this forever?
I'm just curious why it's so hard to get you to give an age for when you think is an acceptable time to f somebody.
I answered the same question 4 times.
You haven't given it. Developed isn't an age. It's not a number.
Nico, I think he's trying to make an understanding of how you apply it in the real world. How do you apply that knowledge or that piece of that phrase you're using, develop age, into the real world? How does somebody navigate that? Somebody who read the same book that you did, had your information. How do they navigate the world? How do they do it?
It's hard to understand you. How does someone navigate the world without a book?
No. You're missing the point. How, if you or you use that phrase, developed, right, as a concept, somebody knows this and they intake that, how do they apply that to the real world? How is they supposed to know? That's just sort of specifics behind it, right?
What is your question? How do you apply the Quran to the real world?
Yes, if the book says that phrase, developed, right? Somebody, when they go into the real world, how do they apply that? How do they use that to know what to do? It's a simple question. Please answer it.
It's pretty easy to tell if somebody's a developed human or not.
So that you trust every human that has read the book to know what's development and know how to use that, and you trust that people will do that responsibly, yes?
Well, this is also the value of having a community, of people around you who are on the same sort of
Also, if
values.
you do it, so if you say, oh, my bad, I thought it was developed, they were only 13, let's say, you said that the community should now, I say, oh, you should have done that, and that's good course correction.
Right, if there's people around that are educated, you have sheikhs and you have other people within the
So
community.
after the
that follow
mistake,
religion.
so after you've done wrong, they go, hey, yo, dude, you probably shouldn't have done that, bro.
No, if,
Like,
if they're
"Oh, good."
following the faith, then they're going to have the right intentions, and they're going to ask people, and it's going to be pretty obvious.
No clear answer, no clear position, just basically saying fucking nothing. I mean, with this line of thinking, you can justify endless transgressions against children who are genuinely not developed and should not be with an adult in any way. I mean, based on Sneako's position, if we just have the Quran and the community around you, whatever that even is supposed to mean, as long as these two things agree with you, you're fine. She's developed, dude. Come on, she's developed. I swear she's developed, dude. She's so developed. I mean, she acts old for her age. The guy needs to seriously get a grip and figure out what he actually believes and make it make sense, or else he's going to keep making arguments like this that make him look like a horrible person. And at points, he almost gives a real answer, and then he diverts back to the explanation of, because God said so.
God did.
Right, no, but being gay is a choice. That's a decision.
Literally, there's no place in the world where it's been discovered how to change somebody's sexuality like that. It just doesn't happen.
You want to know how to not do that? Is just don't kiss a guy as a man.
Do you just not have relationships anymore? Or
No, you could have a relationship, but with the correct sex.
yeah, but if you don't have any sexual attraction towards them, why would you do that?
That's the wrong feeling. That's just an incorrect.
When
thing.
you
It's
say
like
the
saying-
wrong feeling, what? According to who?
The same reason you tell pedophile that they should stop being attracted to kids. It's like you should have a morality about
Hold on.
that.
Why do you think pedophilia is wrong?
No. Answer. It's a good question.
Yeah, I
Answer
need
it.
to make sure you have any idea.
You
Yeah,
la-
tell me.
you
No,
laugh,
wait,
but
make
you
him
don't-
answer. Yeah,
no.
don't bail him out. Make him answer. Why is pedophilia wrong, Sneako?
Because it's not how a relationship. Because God says it's wrong.
That's
No.
that's
Keep
the
going.
reason why. Hold on, wait. So
because
Sneako, no,
God
wait.
says
This
it's
is so
wrong.
easy. So then Sneako, so if God tells you that you can fuck kids like he did with Muhammad or whatever, you think that's okay then? That you would change your mind on that tomorrow?
That's not what happened.
No. I'm asking you. If God tells you, Sneako, I think that fucking kids is okay, then you would change your mind on it tomorrow.
There has to be a justification for everything.
Oh,
for
hold on.
everything
God
that-
has to
didn't say it,
justify
though.
himself? God has to justify it? If you're talking about the need for a justification, then that means something's not good because God says it. It's only good because he's giving you whatever the justification is. So God saying things doesn't mean anything then. So you're just wrong on that. So then what's the justification then for why pedophilia is bad?
The natural question to ask here would be, what if God says that doing something wrong is actually right? And he just spins in circles here. Look, I'm not a religious person, as you guys know. My morality is not informed by religion at all. I do have respect for religious people who actually like believe in it and adhere to those tenets, but it should be pretty fucking easy to say, well, the child is not developed enough to understand what happens to them when they're intimate with someone. Them having intercourse with someone much older than them can negatively affect their development. The adult in the situation is taking advantage of them. The reason why we have the age of consent is because we all understand that when you're really young, you don't have the mental faculties to understand the ramifications of such an action. It can open them up to a whole bunch of other forms of abuse they can also suffer. Like, it's a pretty easy thing to just like type out really quick, or I don't know, fucking Google or something if you really can't come up with it, if you're that dumb. If for some reason the answer eludes you, just at least like pretend to have a good answer if you're too fried to explain yourself, instead of having to give a cop-out on the entire thing and run away from the question. And he finally gives the most basic answer.
Because it's not, kids cannot consent.
There you go. Good job. Yep, you got there. Good job.
Good job, Sneako. Proud of you, buddy. Unfortunately, he then goes on to embarrass himself on the gay argument as well.
There's no purpose for a man to
listen. That's Sneako. If you need a book to tell you not to kids, I don't know what to tell you, okay? But most people can figure out why it's wrong on their own, and you got to the answer in the end, which is good.
Maybe you need
which
that
is
book.
good. Which is good. Which is good.
The fact that you
okay?
answered that question, maybe you need that book.
No, because you compared. You compared homosexuality to why? Wait. So wait, no, make him answer this question. No, hold on. Why is it then that homosexuality, which can be practiced between two consenting adults, why should that be a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. It's just not right. There's no purpose that it's serving.
Yes, because we all know Sneako is doing the most important thing in the world. Streaming on Rumble to children. What an amazing purpose. Everything he does is meaningful. He's never hedonistic. That's why he hangs out with Neon and two OnlyFans girls in a hot tub. Because everything he does is with a purpose to benefit God. God would want him here. He's a great guy. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was a lot of purpose to, agreeing to fight Sean Strickland and then being used as a walking fleshlight. Maybe that was for the Prophet Muhammad. Maybe he would want this to happen. He would want his bravest soldiers to look as brave as possible, getting absolutely destroyed by a professional fighter.
Ready? Go!
Well, I say walking fleshlight, but it's more like pressing his back against the ring and trying to avoid head trauma. Based! And this is all in line with the amazing purpose, the anti-hedonistic stance of doing content with John Zerka of all people, learning how to riz baddies on Monkey.
The major point of contention in the debate yesterday was the age of consent, and I answered it correctly. It's the age of maturity. There's no specific age. It's always changed throughout history. It's changed throughout time. It's different in every single state, every single country, but it was pinned as a gotcha. So I got to get better at well, I didn't get clipped, which is good, but I mean, like, this is why somebody's trying to press me like this. So this is insane. I don't know if he still believes this or Santa. I mean, Destiny, if you still believe this, hopefully you're able to clear it up.
I mean, guys, come on. Muhammad wants this. It's always changed throughout history, guys. It's changed throughout time. These things are all relative. You see, there's a complex math equation here. You have to use the Pythagorean theorem on her age. You can't just look at it for what it is. And he's delusional enough to think he isn't getting clipped as well. Bro, I've seen so many clips of you talking about the subject all over Twitter the past few days. You lost the game, friend. And now he's on this arc where he's like against bragging about the money that he makes. This was him in September of 2023, keep in mind.
And that's what they chose to do. So we're sitting in Discord call, how much money does Sneako really make? He probably makes net positive $10,000 a month. You know how dumb it is? Like, one of the biggest leftist political commentator right now, the blue hair one, you know what I'm talking about, he was saying he probably makes at most $10K a month. At most. Nigga, you've been to my apartment. You know how much it costs. You've seen my editors, my employees alone, and all the expenses before that. Way more than $10K a month. Do you think I'm just losing money every month? Is that, what operation do you think I'm running? And they're just sitting them all in the Discord call gaming and like popping Adderall. How much does he make? This is what you do? And at one point this other soy boy asked, is it rude to speculate how much someone's making? Like, no, how much? They're just jealous and coping. They're sitting in a call live. I don't know why, this is their entertainment. And you kind of feel sad because they're in a constant state of coping. At one side, like from the position over here, one makes you kind of want to flex more. They're even talking about my car. This is like what they get right after they leave the army. This is an SRT. This is a V8. You know how much this costs? You think they get this when you get out of the military? You're gonna hate on my car? That's how down bad you are?
And now he's mad that XQC flexes how much money he makes.
Steve will do it in XQC. Think about that money that you're flexing and the clout that you're flexing. Steve, you say you have more clout. XQC, you say you have more money. When you die, does that matter? What's gonna happen when you die? And none of that money is there to save you. What's gonna happen if war starts in the country that you're in, just like it's happening in Palestine right now? And people go and push your house down. They're killing your family. They take away, they separate you. What are you going to do with all that money and clout? It's useless now. When you're dead and you're facing judgment day and your actions are going to be judged, what is God going to look at? Is God going to look at your Instagram followers? Or is he going to look at what you did and think, does this person deserve to go to heaven or hell? Did he do the right things or did he go and sell out? Was he promoting something that was positive or negative? Did he leave the world a better place or did he make it worse for his own personal gain? That's what matters.
First of all, I think what he's talking about here is when XQC got hate for doing a lazy reaction to the war in Palestine, and then he just like bragged about how much money he makes, which I mean is kind of scummy, but it's also kind of freaking hilarious.
Go kid, go kid.
The thing is, if Sneako had a principled position on this and was consistent, I wouldn't really care. But he's constantly wearing designer clothing on his streams. He brags about how much money he makes. He brags about his car. He hangs out with these loose women, for lack of a better term. He parties all the time and does drugs. And then he also preaches about Muhammad and how he's a righteous person. He's just not a righteous person. Ultimately, everything he does is completely self-interested, and that's how he's always been. Now he's just pretending to be something he's not. And as for spreading positivity...
Victor gave me 5, said, you didn't respond to a single point that guy made. You know why, Victor, he just donated 5, and he has no profile picture because also he's a fucking lame nerd who gets no pussy.
I mean, no. Just no. Go spread your ass cheeks again, so Andrew Tate can carefully insert himself in there. It might be the last crack he sees before the Romanian government cracks down on him and his brother and puts them both in jail. He's gonna stand trial. Andrew Tate will be found innocent because there's no evidence against him. He is innocent. We are super excited for the trial.
Stop the cap.
Hate Bros will beat this garbage case. Yeah, I mean, evidence? Evidence? Where is that? I've never heard about evidence. What does the word even mean? Use the Pythagorean theorem on it, guys.
This is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. Whereas a 19-year-old, she's fresh.
Hey, yo, what the?
Yeah, he's gonna be totally fine, guys, I'm sure. On the next episode of The Tom Dark Show, we will be teaching you guys how to make money by getting your girl to post her feet under the guise of financial analysis. This is deep stuff. You're not gonna want to miss it. And check out my TikToks linked in the description down below.